There are places on Earth so unusual that they feel like scenes from another world. Destinations where history, nature, and human imagination collide in the strangest ways. In this journey to the strangest places on Earth, we explore locations that confuse the mind, challenge logic, and spark endless curiosity. Deep in the canals of Mexico lies the haunting island of the Dolls, a mysterious place where thousands of old, broken dolls hang from trees and buildings. Their faded faces and empty eyes create an eerie atmosphere that leaves visitors both fascinated and uneasy. Across the ocean in Chile, we arrive at Torres del Paine, where an unexpected stretch of road bursts with vibrant painted artwork. The colorful designs transform an ordinary path into a living gallery, blending creativity with one of the world's most dramatic natural landscapes. Then, in China's remote Yilang Valley, we encounter a bizarre forest of giant stone heads, hundreds of towering sculptures with strange, fierce expressions, silently guarding the hills like relics of an unknown civilization. These incredible destinations prove that our planet is far more mysterious than it appears on any map. Get ready to discover corners of the world where reality feels stranger than fiction, and every step reveals something wonderfully, beautifully bizarre. Island of the Dolls. Hidden among the canals of Xochimilco near Mexico City lies the eerie Island of the Dolls. The small floating garden, only a few hundred yards wide, became famous in the 1950s when caretaker Don Julian Santana began hanging abandoned dolls from the trees. He believed the dolls protected the spirit of a young girl who had drowned nearby. Today, more than 1,000 faded and broken figures dangle from branches, fences, and rooftops. Their cracked faces and empty eyes create a haunting landscape unlike anywhere else on Earth. Each year, tens of thousands of curious visitors travel by wooden boat to witness this strange and unsettling place for themselves. Eternal Flame Falls. Hidden within New York State's Chestnut Ridge Park lies a rare natural wonder known as Eternal Flame Falls. Behind a curtain of water about 30 feet high, a small but persistent flame flickers from a narrow crack in the shale rock. Geologists explain that pockets of natural gas seep upward from ancient layers deep underground, feeding the fire with a steady, invisible fuel. What makes the phenomenon remarkable is its resilience. The flame continues to burn through heavy rain, rushing waterfalls, and even the freezing snows of winter. Formed thousands of years ago by glacial erosion and shifting bedrock, this unusual meeting of water and fire draws thousands of curious visitors each year. Hikers follow a winding trail through dense forest just to witness the strange moment where two opposing forces of nature exist together in perfect balance. Sedlec Ossuary. Hidden beneath the Church of All Saints in the town of Kutna Hora, the Sedlec Ossuary is one of the strangest monuments on Earth. This small Gothic chapel is decorated with the remains of more than 40,000 people. Its story began in the 13th century, when soil from Jerusalem was sprinkled on the cemetery, turning it into a sacred burial place. After centuries of plague and medieval wars, the graves became overcrowded. In the 1870s, a local woodcarver carefully arranged the bones into chandeliers, arches, and intricate coats of arms. Today, the silent structure creates an eerie, shadowy atmosphere where architecture, history, and spiritual mystery meet in a truly unforgettable way. Torres del Paine. Winding toward the wild heart of Patagonia, the painted road of Torres del Paine has become an unexpected outdoor gallery. Stretching for nearly 20 miles through the national park, the route was first marked in the early 1990s to guide travelers across rugged terrain shaped more than 12,000 years ago by retreating glaciers. Local artists later transformed sections of the pavement into vivid murals, using weather-resistant pigments, creating bright condors, pumas, and mountain scenes that reflect Chilean heritage. The bold reds, ocean blues, and sunlit yellows are not just decoration. They symbolize respect for nature, indigenous legends, and the spirit of exploration. Today, thousands of curious visitors pause each year to photograph this moving canvas, where geography and creativity meet beneath the towering granite peaks. Yelang Valley. Hidden in the mountains of Guizhou Province, Yelang Valley in China feels like stepping into a forgotten civilization. This unusual park was created in the late 1990s by local artist Song Pi Lun, who spent more than 20 years shaping thousands of massive stone sculptures by hand. The valley covers roughly 300 acres, and within its rocky landscape rise giant human faces, some reaching heights of over 30 feet. Built from rough, local limestone and concrete, each statue carries exaggerated eyes, wide mouths, and mysterious expressions inspired by the ancient Yelang culture that flourished more than 2,000 years ago. No two figures are alike, giving the site a strange, almost otherworldly personality. Visitors wander along narrow paths, feeling tiny beneath the silent guardians as wind moves through the trees. Today, tens of thousands of curious travelers come every year, drawn by the eerie scenery and the haunting question of what these monumental stone heads might be trying to say. Hand of the Desert. Rising from the empty sands of Chile's Atacama Desert, the Hand of the Desert is one of the strangest monuments on Earth. This enormous sculpture was built in the year 1992 by Chilean artist Mario Irarrázaval, who wanted to express human vulnerability in a harsh natural world. The concrete hand stands nearly 36 feet tall, with rough textured fingers that appear to claw their way out of the ground. Located about 47 miles south of the city of Antofagasta, the artwork endures temperatures that can swing from freezing nights to scorching days above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Fierce desert winds and blowing sand have battered the structure for more than 3 decades, yet it remains solid and unmoving. Every year, thousands of travelers make the long journey across lonely highways to see this surreal symbol of strength and solitude, a silent giant, forever greeting visitors beneath the wide Chilean sky. Socotra Island. Far out in the Indian Ocean, about 200 miles from mainland Yemen, lies Socotra Island, one of the most biologically unusual places on Earth. This rugged island of rocky plateaus, white beaches, and rolling sand dunes has been isolated for millions of years, allowing life to evolve in extraordinary ways. More than 700 plant species grow here, and nearly 1/3 of them exist nowhere else on the planet. The most famous is the dragon's blood tree, shaped like an upside-down umbrella, a design that helps it collect moisture from heavy sea fog. Bottle trees with swollen trunks store precious water, surviving long dry seasons through remarkable natural adaptation. Visitors arrive by the thousands each year to explore hidden coves, swim in turquoise seas, and even spot wild dolphins along the coast. With its alien landscapes and gentle climate, Socotra feels less like Earth and more like a living window into another world. Door to Hell. In the vast Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan lies one of the most unsettling sights on the planet, a flaming crater known as the Door to Hell. This fiery pit was accidentally created in the year 1971 when Soviet geologists drilling for natural gas struck an underground cavern. Fearing the release of toxic fumes, they set the gas alight, expecting it to burn out in a few days. Instead, it has raged continuously for more than 5 decades. The crater measures roughly 230 feet across and plunges nearly 70 feet into the earth, with roaring flames that can be seen from miles away. Intense heat, unstable ground, and poisonous gases make the site extremely dangerous, and visitors are warned to keep a safe distance. Yet adventurous travelers still journey here to witness this glowing wound in the desert, a dramatic reminder of the hidden power of geology and human error. Pripyat. Pripyat, Ukraine, is a frozen city trapped in time. Founded in 1970 to house workers from the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant, it once had a lively population of nearly 50,000 people. On April 26, 1986, the worst nuclear accident in history changed everything. Within hours, the entire city was evacuated, leaving apartments, schools, and amusement parks to crumble in silence. Today, cracked concrete blocks, rusted Ferris wheels, and empty streets create an eerie, post-apocalyptic landscape. Nature has slowly reclaimed the ruins, but radiation still lingers. Strict safety rules warn visitors to follow guided routes and avoid abandoned structures that remain dangerously unstable. Spotted Lake. Spotted Lake in British Columbia, Canada, appears like a canvas painted by an alien world. This unusual lake formed thousands of years ago in a small desert basin near the town of Osoyoos. Covering roughly 15 acres, the shallow water holds extremely high levels of dissolved minerals such as magnesium sulfate, calcium, and sodium. During the warm summer months, when temperatures climb and evaporation increases, the lake shrinks and separates into hundreds of small, round pools. Each pool turns a different color, glowing in shades of turquoise, emerald green, pale yellow, and chalky white. The strange shapes and vivid tones are created by natural geological deposits left behind as the water disappears. From above, the surface looks like a giant dotted painting, attracting curious travelers and scientists eager to witness one of the most visually extraordinary landscapes on Earth. Danakil Depression. In northern Ethiopia lies the Danakil Depression, one of the hottest and most alien landscapes on Earth. Constant geothermal activity heats underground minerals and forces them to the surface, creating fields of bubbling sulfur springs, bright yellow salt flats, and pools of glowing green and orange acid. Temperatures here often climb above 115 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the most extreme environments on the planet. The strange colors and cracked formations give the ground an almost otherworldly appearance, drawing scientists and brave travelers eager to witness a place that feels less like Earth and more like another planet. Gunkanjima. Far off the coast of Nagasaki lies Gunkanjima, Japan, an isolated island once crowded with life. In the year 1887, rich coal deposits were discovered beneath the seabed, and the barren rock quickly grew into a dense industrial settlement. At its peak in 1959, more than 5,000 residents lived on only 16 acres, making it one of the most tightly packed places on Earth. When cheap petroleum replaced coal, the mines shut down in 1974. Families departed almost overnight, leaving behind concrete apartment blocks, schools, and stairways. Today, the crumbling architecture stands empty and unsafe, a silent, haunting reminder of a city suddenly abandoned. Deadvley. Hidden deep inside Namibia's Namib Desert lies Deadvley, one of the most isolated and surreal landscapes on Earth. Surrounded by towering red sand dunes that rise more than 900 feet high, this strange white clay pan was once part of a thriving river system. Around 900 years ago, shifting dunes blocked the flow of the Sorchub River, cutting off water and leaving the trees to slowly die. The skeletons of ancient camel thorn trees still stand here today, preserved by an extremely dry climate where temperatures can exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Rain almost never falls, and the cracked ground creates an eerie, silent scene. Despite the harsh conditions, curious travelers from around the world come to witness this haunting natural wonder. Hutawan. On a remote island in China's Zhoushan archipelago lies Hutawan, a village that seems frozen in time. Built on steep coastal hills decades ago, it was once home to more than 2,000 fishermen and their families. The settlement's isolated location, reachable only by boat and narrow paths, made daily life difficult, and by the early 1990s, most residents had moved away in search of better opportunities. Left behind were empty concrete houses, crumbling stairways, and silent streets overlooking the East China Sea. With no human care, nature slowly reclaimed the town, covering roofs and walls with thick layers of ivy and bright green moss. Today, this haunting island ruin attracts curious travelers who wander through its lush, overgrown remains, witnessing how quickly the landscape can erase the traces of human history. Reykjadalur Hot Springs. Hidden within a valley shaped by tectonic forces, the Reykjadalur Hot Springs offer a rare glimpse into the restless geology of Iceland. Here, underground heat from a volcanic system rises through fractures in the Earth's crust, creating steaming vents, bubbling mud pools, and rivers warmed naturally to bathing temperatures. The valley lies along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, where the Eurasian and North American plates slowly drift apart at only a few centimeters each year. Yet over millennia, this slow motion has created dramatic landscapes. Minerals carried by geothermal waters stain the rocks with vivid hues of red, yellow, and green, while sulfuric gases rise in ghostly plumes, hinting at the planet's fiery core beneath. Archaeological traces show that people have long sought these springs for warmth and healing, drawn by the fusion of raw geology and life-sustaining energy. Reykjadalur is not just a scenic valley, it is a living classroom where Earth's interior reveals itself on the surface. Kayakoi. On the hills, above the turquoise coast of southwestern Turkey, lies Kayakoi, a haunting ghost town frozen in time. More than 300 stone houses and 2 Greek Orthodox churches cling to the mountainside overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. The settlement was formed centuries ago as a lively community of farmers, artisans, and merchants who shaped the rugged coastal landscape. Everything changed in 1923 when a historic population exchange between Greece and Turkey forced nearly all residents to leave their homes forever. Without people, the town slowly faded into ruin. Roofs collapsed, walls cracked, and narrow streets filled with weeds and wild grass. Today, Kayakoi stands silent and empty, its abandoned schools and homes offering visitors a powerful glimpse into how political decisions and geography can transform a thriving village into a lonely monument of history. Salar de Uyuni. Hidden high in Bolivia, Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat on the planet, stretching across more than 4,000 square miles. Scientists estimate that the crust contains over 10 billion tons of salt, left behind by ancient lakes that dried up thousands of years ago. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water transforms the plain into a giant natural mirror, so smooth it can reflect the entire sky. This glass-like surface forms because the salt crystals create an almost perfectly level sheet. Every year, more than 300,000 visitors travel here to experience the surreal landscape and capture its famous optical illusions. Kolmanskop. Deep in the Namib Desert lies Kolmanskop, one of the strangest abandoned towns on Earth. Founded in the year 1908 after diamonds were discovered in the sand, the settlement quickly grew into a wealthy German mining community with more than 300 residents. Elegant houses, a hospital, a ballroom, and even a bowling alley were built in a place that receives less than 1 inch of rain each year. But by the 1930s, richer diamond fields were found farther south, and the town was slowly deserted. Without people to maintain it, relentless desert winds began pushing tons of fine sand through doors and windows. Today, entire rooms are half buried, filled with golden dunes that rise as high as the ceilings. Temperatures can climb above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and powerful gusts constantly reshape the landscape. Visitors who walk through the silent streets feel as if time stopped decades ago. Kolmanskop now stands as a haunting reminder of how quickly nature can reclaim even the most ambitious human dreams. Chocolate Hills. On the island of Bohol in the Philippines lies one of the most unusual landscapes on Earth, the Chocolate Hills. This strange region contains more than 1,260 perfectly rounded limestone mounds spread across roughly 20 square miles. Each hill rises between 130 and 300 feet high, forming a rolling pattern that looks almost artificial when seen from above. Geologists believe the shapes were created over millions of years as ancient coral deposits were slowly lifted from the sea by tectonic movement and then carved by rain and natural erosion. In the wet season, the hills appear bright green, but in the dry months, the grass turns deep brown, giving them their famous chocolate-like color. Today, thousands of curious visitors climb observation decks to admire the surreal terrain, take photographs, and experience a landscape that feels more like a scene from another planet than a real place on Earth. Humberstone. In the dry emptiness of northern Chile stands Humberstone, a ghost town frozen in time. Founded in the late 1800s during the global nitrate boom, this isolated settlement once housed more than 3,000 workers and their families. The town grew around massive saltpeter processing plants that supplied fertilizer to farms across the world. But by the 1930s, synthetic alternatives destroyed the industry, and Humberstone slowly lost its purpose. By the year 1960, it was completely abandoned. Today, visitors walk through silent theaters, rusting factories, and crumbling homes where desert winds blow through broken windows. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005, the town remains a haunting reminder of how economic change can transform a thriving community into a lonely ruin at the edge of one of the driest deserts on Earth. Pamukkale. In southwestern Turkey lies Pamukkale, a landscape so unusual that its name means cotton castle. This natural wonder was formed over thousands of years by mineral-rich hot springs flowing from underground faults. The water, heated deep within the earth, carries high levels of calcium carbonate that slowly harden into brilliant white terraces. More than 17 separate thermal pools cascade down the hillside, creating shallow, mirror-like basins shaped like delicate stone steps. The entire formation stretches for nearly 1.5 miles and can be seen glowing from far across the valley. Just beside the terraces stand the ancient ruins of Hierapolis, a Greco-Roman city founded in the 2nd century before Christ, where crumbling theaters and temples overlook the steaming springs. Today, colorful hot air balloons often drift above the site at dawn, giving visitors a breathtaking aerial view of the surreal geology below. Each year, close to 2 million travelers come to walk barefoot along the warm channels, witnessing firsthand how simple water and time can sculpt one of the strangest and most beautiful places on Earth. Lake Hillier. Hidden beside the wild coastline of Western Australia lies Lake Hillier, a natural wonder that appears to be painted in bright strawberry pink. The lake stretches roughly 2,000 feet in length and is surrounded by a narrow ribbon of white sand and dark green eucalyptus forest. Discovered in the year 1802 by British explorer Matthew Flinders, this strange body of water has fascinated scientists for more than 2 centuries. Research shows that the color is created by tiny microorganisms, including algae and salt-loving bacteria, which produce deep red pigments that tint the highly salty water. Unlike other colored lakes, the pink shade remains vibrant even when the water is removed in a container. Seen from the air, the lake looks like a vivid splash of paint dropped onto the blue ocean, drawing curious visitors and proving that nature can create scenes more surreal than any artist could imagine. Mono Lake Tufa Towers. Mono Lake, resting high in the desert of Eastern California, is one of the oldest lakes in North America, with a history that stretches back more than 760,000 years. Its most striking feature is a forest of eerie stone spires rising directly from the water, known as Tufa Towers. These strange formations were created through a slow chemical reaction between freshwater springs rich in calcium and the lake's highly alkaline, salty water. Over many centuries, the minerals hardened into towering columns, some reaching heights of more than 30 feet. When water levels dropped in the 1940s due to heavy diversions, the hidden structures were suddenly exposed to the open air. Today, visitors walk among these ghostly pillars and discover a landscape that looks almost otherworldly, a rare meeting point of geology, chemistry, and time preserved in a single, unforgettable place. The Wave. The Wave, hidden in the deserts of northern Arizona, is a sandstone masterpiece shaped over 190 million years. Its flowing patterns and delicate bands of red, gold, and orange were carved by ancient winds and seasonal rain. The rock belongs to the Navajo Sandstone Formation, created when enormous desert dunes slowly compressed and hardened into stone. Iron oxide and thin mineral layers produce the dramatic colors seen today. To protect this fragile site, only 20 visitors are permitted each day. Every smooth curve and rippling line reveals a rare and breathtaking snapshot of Earth's deep geological history. Vinicunca Rainbow Mountain. Vinicunca, known as Rainbow Mountain, rises high in the Andes of Peru at an elevation of about 17,000 feet above sea level. This remarkable landscape was formed over millions of years as layers of ancient seabed were pushed upward by the slow collision of tectonic plates. The colorful stripes that cover the slopes are not paint or magic, but geology in plain sight. Red bands come from iron oxide, yellow tones from sulfur, green from copper minerals, and soft purples from mixtures of magnesium and clay. Wind, rain, and freezing temperatures gradually expose these mineral layers, carving the mountain into smooth waves and sharp ridges. From a distance, the hills appear like a giant natural painting, stretching for more than 6 miles across the valley. Near the main trail stands a modern stone sculpture shaped like a massive human hand, symbolizing respect for nature and the ancient Andean cultures. Each year, tens of thousands of travelers make the challenging hike to witness this rare spectacle, proving that Vinicunca is one of the most extraordinary geological wonders on Earth. Lauterbrunnen. Carved by Ice Age glaciers, Lauterbrunnen is one of Earth's most dramatic U-shaped valleys, its cliffs rising nearly half a mile, with over 70 waterfalls streaming down like silver threads. Each cascade is shaped by geology, layers of limestone and shale sculpted by water and time. The valley shifts with the seasons. In summer, meadows bloom beneath snowy peaks, while cattle graze high pastures, their heads adorned with flowers during traditional parades. Villages scattered across the slopes add a poetic touch, wooden chalets framed by alpine gardens, framed by waterfalls in the background. Festivals here blend sound and movement. Music echoes off stone walls, and dancers in traditional dress turn celebrations into living history. Winter transforms the valley into a frozen amphitheater, waterfalls crystallized into icy sculptures, villages glowing under blankets of snow. Lauterbrunnen is more than scenery. It is a fusion of natural forces, cultural traditions, and timeless beauty, where geology, song, and pastoral life weave into an unforgettable landscape. Baradla Cave. Hidden beneath the lush landscapes of northeastern Hungary lies Baradla Cave, one of Europe's most remarkable underground wonders. Stretching for more than 15 miles, it is the largest cave system in the country and a centerpiece of the Agtelek National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site shared with Slovakia. This labyrinth of chambers and passages was carved over millions of years by the slow but relentless flow of acidic water through limestone, leaving behind colossal stalactites, stalagmites, and astonishing dripstone formations, some towering over 30 feet. Archaeological evidence shows that humans sought shelter here as far back as 7,000 years ago, with Neolithic tools and fragments of pottery discovered deep inside its chambers. Beyond its history, Baradla boasts incredible natural acoustics. Its largest hall, often called the Concert Hall, can hold up to 1,000 visitors and has even hosted live performances. Today, the cave attracts scientists, adventurers, and curious travelers alike, offering a rare chance to step into a timeless, subterranean world where geology, history, and human imagination intertwine.